Providence, Delaware, because I got
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for joining us on this rainy spring day. Before we get started, we want to welcome everyone here, and of course, any newcomers who may be with us for the first time. Are there any new folks? We have a little gift bag for you if this is your first time. Oh, I think we have a couple of newcomers here.
Oh, goodness, okay.
Yeah, okay. I think just two. Great, okay. Well, Dan gives you your gift bags. I'd like to tell you a little bit about our guest speaker today, who is Elizabeth Betzel. And as most of you know, Elizabeth is a licensed Unity teacher. She has a long background in Unity and has pursued many other spiritual disciplines as well, such as Enneagram, is that how you say it? Heart Intelligence. Her title today is Our Hidden Wholeness. Elizabeth, thank you so much for being with us today. We're also blessed to have Robin Cummings and Michael Contrast as our musical duo. And let's thank them for being here today. And just a few brief announcements. This Tuesday, it's once again the first Tuesday, so Unity Women will be meeting at Scramblers at 12:30. And on Thursday is Gentle Yoga with Tamara at 1 o'clock. And be thinking about our annual summer concert, Start Praying for Good Weather. It's Saturday, July 26th at 6 p.m. The Linda Sues have had our first practice, and we're psyched to go already. Finally, many thanks to all of you for joining us today, both here and online, and for supporting our ministry with your tithes and donations, whether by PayPal, through our website, or here in our offering baskets. We're grateful for your support. As always, we start with prayer, holding the highest in mind and heart for ourselves, each other, and our communities and our world. If you're listening online, remember you can send in a prayer request anytime on our website, unitydelawareohio.org. Just use the prayer request tab at the top of the page. Now, now Robin and Michael will lead us in prayer.
In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we heal and sing. Thy will be done. In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we are whole. In the light of love, we heal and sing. Thy will be done. In the light of love.
So as we close our eyes, we allow ourselves to take a deep breath and to become even more centered and more still, receptive to the flow of divine life that is in us. that wellspring of great wisdom so abundantly available to us, that steady flow of peace and abiding love that we can draw upon moment by moment to guide and protect us, to lead us in the path of life. And as we enter this sacred time of prayer, we realize that no matter what the outer world of appearances is presenting to us at this time, each one of us has a deep connection to that power, to that presence within us. We set aside our agendas and open to the opportunity to be lived by this powerful, loving presence. That divine presence that lights the path before us, that provides for us, that shows us what is ours to do. How grateful we are to live in this ocean of grace. We know this is true for each one in our circle of prayer this morning, for each one listening in on our service, for all those who we are uplifting in prayer in this moment, and for all beings everywhere. Not one of us is separate from the living God. Each one of us is in direct touch with the guidance that we need, with all the healing energy we require, and with all the abiding love that we long for. Not one of us is alone and separate from this source of all good, the answer to all our needs. How grateful we are to know this truth this morning for ourselves and for all living beings everywhere. We are one with the living God that makes all things possible, and we are grateful. And so it is. Amen.
Music from Karen Drucker, right?
In this moment, in this place, I remember who I am, letting fear and worry fall away from me. I open my eyes and see there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. When I lose myself, when I feel I've lost my way, I go inside, close my eyes. I can feel spirit softly say, there is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. Love that heals, love that sets us free. There is only love. There is only love.
Well, thank you, Robin, and thank you, Michael, for that beautiful song, setting the space for us so beautifully. And of course, not that I want to break that, but I've got some a little bit of humor here. I like to start with humor. I noticed when Joanne does that there's something about laughing, something about taking something lightly and not personally that opens us up, that makes us a little more receptive. And so I've got 4 jokes here this morning. My talk, of course, is about our hidden wholeness, but we're going to look at that, and we're going to look at the totem of the trees in order to understand all that is implied there. And so have you ever looked for tree jokes on the internet? There aren't too many. So I've got 4 probably rather mediocre ones here, and the reason I've got 4 is I'm hoping that one of them will cause a chuckle. We'll see. So what do you get when you cross a tabby cat with a lemon tree? A sourpuss. Yeah, a sourpuss. Why did the 2 fruit trees not see eye to eye? Because they were apples and oranges. Why do trees prefer to stay out of politics? They don't like to lean one way or the other. And the last one, why did the evil king order his subjects to cut down every tree in the kingdom? He got jealous of the fact that they all had bigger crowns than he did. Yeah, not too many good ones, but at least a few chuckles. Thank you. So, we all know how good it feels to go out into nature, especially this time of year when everything is coming back to life and greening up. The sounds of the forest, the scampering of the wildlife, the scent of the flowers, the sunlight playing through the leaves, the fresh, clean air, those things all give us a sense of comfort, a sense of vitality. They ease our stress and our worry. They help us to relax and to think more clearly. Being in nature can restore our mood, give us back our energy and vitality, refresh and rejuvenate us. And I found this to be very true during my last year of convalescence. Whenever the temperatures permitted, I would spend some time every day on my deck in the back, and it overlooks some trees. The woods kind of come right up to the deck there. And, witnessing the trees, the wildflowers, the squirrels scampering around, the birds that would come and serenade me. I had my own private, concert every morning. Whenever I was able to do that, I noticed that my days passed a little more easily. In fact, I spent some time out there this morning doing a little bit of meditation and enjoying the songs of the birds that were there, even on this rather dismal day. Their songs were the same as they were on a sunny day, so it was a really good reminder. There's a reason that we have a sense of joy and calm when we connect with nature. Trees and plants are nature's chemical factories. We know that through the process of photosynthesis, that they add oxygen to the air and they clean out a lot of pollutants. The trees absorb carbon dioxide, ground level ozone, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and all the other greenhouse gases. When we breathe in the air of the forest, when we're walking through it, we are actually breathing enriched oxygen air, which improves our health in many ways, elevating our moods and relieving our stress. In addition to providing us with numerous health and psychological benefits, trees and plants show us how to thrive throughout life. Jesus used these characteristics of nature to impart spiritual truths to his disciples. In Matthew 6, Jesus instructs his disciples, "Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith?" We see in this teaching that God's supply is universal. We readily see this in nature. When speaking of the sun and the moon, we never say, "my sun, my moon." It's obvious that God causes the sun to shine on the evil and the good, and sends the rain to the righteous and the unrighteous. As soon as we try to personalize God's supply, we diminish it. If we want to speak truthfully about supply, we must release any personal ownership of it. And, this truth informs our prayer practice. In our prayers, we acknowledge the universality of God's supply, affirming that it is available to us, claiming it for ourselves, for our loved ones, and for all beings everywhere. Perhaps you remember the blessing that we used to say before we took the offering, back before COVID. It went like this: divine love flowing through me, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am richly blessed. It is easy to see that we cannot give if we do not receive. But the opposite is just as true. We cannot receive if we do not give. This truth is embodied in the 2-cup coffee theology embraced by Rabbi Iggy. Now, some of you know that my husband, Dan, he believes that retirement is meant for rewirement. And it's been kind of interesting to see that journey of his. As many of you know, he has studied to become a rabbi and now leads a small congregation up in Lima, Ohio. And Rabbi Iggy was one of his teachers. His theology goes like this: to see someone in need and buy them a cup of coffee is an act of kindness, and it makes us feel good to be able to do that. But to buy 2 cups, one for yourself and one for them, and to sit beside them, not above them, seeing them as they truly are, another child of God, not judging them, is an act of sacred connection. In that moment of shared presence, of sitting in the truth of another human being, the divine reveals itself. The energy that arises between 2 people in authentic relationship is more than the sum of its parts. It is a third force, a spark of holiness. This is where God lives, not in charity alone, but in communion. As Joanne reminded us a few weeks ago, this 2-cup coffee theology is modeled in the hidden life of trees. It is known that trees communicate with each other through what scientists have now named the wood wide web. Yes, trees can instant message one another by sending chemical and electrical signals that travel along the mycorrhizal fungi living in and around their roots. These fungi branch out in a dense network of straw-like fibers, allowing trees to live in collaboration and in connection. Fungi and trees form a symbiotic relationship. Each species works with the other to survive. The fungi's job is to break down rocks and soil into nutrients, while their tiny tubes help the host tree absorb the nutrients along with more water. In exchange, the tree shares up to 1/3 of the food that it makes with the fungi. This is an example of Rabbi Iggy's 2-cup coffee theology. The tree and the fungi are in an authentic relationship, and a third force, the spark of the divine, allows both the tree and the fungi to thrive. I experienced this 2-cup coffee theology in my own life just recently. During my recovery from a broken femur, I found it very difficult, sometimes impossible, to know the truth of myself, that God's healing energy is flowing through me at all times, restoring me to health and wholeness. The outward appearances of immobility were so strong that I often feared I would never walk again. I feared that the multiple repairs to my femur would continue to fail. And during this time, I received numerous get well cards, many of them from those of you who are here today. And this reminded me of 1-cup coffee theology. You reached out to me to let me know that you were thinking of me, and that was so incredibly helpful, to be reminded that I was not alone in this difficult time. But many of you also prayed for me. When we pray for another, we enter into an authentic relationship with that person. We see him or her not as they appear to be, but as a child of God, made in the image of God, perfect, whole, and complete. We relate to that person in their wholeness and in their perfection, despite the outward appearances of their humanity. Our prayers for one another acknowledge the eternal presence of God's grace with every one of us. When acknowledged, this grace then comes into visible manifestation. For me, this manifested as my ability to walk again. This is 2-cup coffee theology. So what is it that allows us to see others as a divine child of God when appearances of their humanity are so strong? Again, the trees show us how this can be done. Trees are grounded deeply in the earth, receiving the energy of the sunlight and converting it into food in abundance, which nourishes not only themselves, but other living creatures as well. This deep grounding allows the trees and the fungi to enter an authentic relationship which allows them to thrive. And unlike humans, trees do not hoard their resources. The fruit trees do not use up their own fruit, for they are fed and sustained by divine life. The fruit that they bear is meant for the world. The same is true of us. No divine truth that is revealed within us is ever for ourselves alone. Truth is revealed to us to be shared with those who are seeking truth, just as we are. It reminds me of that children's song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm Gonna Let It Shine." I don't know if many of you are familiar with that. I sang that growing up for a long, long time. And it was a little ditty that kept us occupied, but it's such a powerful truth when you think about it. As this song suggests, when we realize a divine truth, that becomes a light within us. We are not to hide it under a bushel. No, I'm going to let it shine. And we let it shine. When we receive the light of truth, we spread it to others. This can be done in many ways. Some truths are shared in prayer, some in conversations and in teachings. Other truths simply become a part of our daily experience and are shared as a living example. Some truths like peace and joy are radiated from within us and affect the world around us. Trees also set a beautiful example of gracefully weathering the seasons of our lives, including times of high winds, heavy rains, extreme heat, and drought. The trees weather the difficult times by letting go. When the wind comes, they sway with them. When times of scarcity approach each year as the days shorten and the temperatures drop, they let go of all that does not serve them any longer, knowing that what they need will be provided when it is needed again. Like trees, we too can ground ourselves, extending our roots and deepening our foundation to help us journey through the storms of our own lives with greater patience and ease. We can let go of our striving, of our beliefs, of our fixed ideas that no longer serve us, of the stories that are worn out and no longer true about us. We can let these things go because we trust that the resources we need will be provided when we need them. We are always in the stark and beautiful movement of letting go of thoughts, expectations, and perceived hurts. This letting go sets us free to experience a deeper and more expansive experience of ourselves. Letting go is a continual process that invites us to affirm the truth of our being and to trust the unfolding journey of our life experience. We trust the movement of spirit that creates this masterpiece that is you, that is me. Like the trees, graceful and humble, we can bow to the cycles of letting go. We can bow to the cycles of death and of rebirth that visit us throughout our lifetime. We know that the average lifespan of many trees is much longer than our own human lifespan. Coniferous evergreens are some of the longest lived trees, with certain species having the potential to live more than 2,000 years. These trees remind us that we have all the time that we need. I found this belief to be very helpful to me when navigating challenging situations. Knowing that I have all the time that I need allows me to live from a right orientation. It gives me the time to realize that there is more to this challenging situation than what I am seeing and perceiving in this moment. As I focus on my breath, which allows my thinking to slow down, new information enters my awareness, which then allows clarity to arise so that right action can be identified. I recently experienced this process with one of my students. I received an email from this student during the third week of this past semester. She was very stressed and a bit belligerent about some of the course requirements that required regular submission of graded assignments. When I receive an email like this, I'll admit I am usually triggered, and my first thought is to respond immediately to correct what I perceive to be the student's misunderstandings. You may be wondering how that approach works for me. Well, not at all, really. But this time, however, I had the presence of mind to let it rest for a day. My usual urgency to fix the situation immediately did not arise. When I read her email a day later, a funny thing happened. I noticed that it was not nearly as belligerent as I had first thought. And with my judgment less activated, I was able to sense her frustration that was coming from her desire to do well in this course while managing a heavy workload and several other classes. I was able to acknowledge her good intention of wanting to do well in the midst of a challenging schedule in my reply, and she quickly replied, taking ownership of her frustration, and offered an apology. We are now in an authentic relationship instead of an adversarial one. And since this is where God lives, we easily worked out her options and a way of moving forward that would allow her to successfully complete the course. We stayed in communication throughout the semester, and while she couldn't complete the course successfully on her first attempt, she expressed gratitude for our mutual understanding and our ability to work together. And we're both looking forward to working together again in the fall. As we discussed this morning, trees serve as a totem for many of us in many ways. A totem is just a natural object or an animal that is believed to have spiritual significance and that is adopted as a powerful emblem. My challenge to you this morning is every time you see a tree, and that will be often because there are a lot of them around us, every time you see a tree, remember Rabbi Iggy's 2-cup coffee theology, the invitation to be in authentic, sacred relationship with others, allowing that third force, that spark of holiness, to arise. Every time you see a tree, remember that we are deeply grounded in universal infinite supply, that we draw what we need from within. We do not have to strive to attract it from without. Every time you see a tree, remember that all truth revealed to you is meant to be shared. Don't hide your light under a bushel. The tree of life, which is a Jewish totem, which is beautifully displayed behind me above the altar, reminds us that our roots are deep in God's infinite supply, that our branches reach upwards toward the future, open and receptive, and that our trunk is a sturdy conversation between the past and the present. Flowing through it all is the divine sap, that sacred energy that connects all living things through its ever-growing and intersecting root system. Let's close in a word of prayer. With grateful hearts, we allow ourselves to rest in the sacred web of all life, knowing that we are connected with all living beings on this planet in a complex, interdependent cycle of life. We give thanks to the source of all good that dwells among us and in each one of us in every moment of every day. And as we move throughout this day, through this week, may we be inspired and comforted by the natural gifts that are available to us in every moment. May we be aware of the enormous, interdependent network of life of which we are but a small part. We are grateful for the intelligent design of our environment, and so it is. Amen.
This is a song by Tom Kimmel. One Heart.
I don't have my microphone.
Well, the storm on the ocean is the rain downtown. The sun shines somewhere as the night goes down. The moon still dancing when the sky turns blue. And the love I'm feeling is the love in you. One heart, one mind, one love is with us all the time. It's autumn till the trees are bare, and the cold December fills the sea so blue. And the love I'm feeling is the love in you. And one heart, one mind, one love is with us all the time. One life, one life, one spirit in the world tonight. Find our way, make our peace, accept all things, things you cannot see. Carry on, see it through. One for all for me and you. Well, this song I'm singing goes a long way back. Love's old engine going down this track, and the light in the tunnel coming into view. And the hope I'm feeling is the hope in you. And one heart, one mind, one love is with us all the time. One life, one life, one spirit in the world tonight. One light, one life, one spirit in the world tonight.
Wow. I needed that today. But Elizabeth, thank you so much for your wonderful, inspiring message. I'm going to try out that 2-cup philosophy this week. It's great. Let's give a nice applause. And thank you for our wonderful musicians, Robin Cummings and Michael Contras. Thanks so much. And also to our AV technician, Michael, and Lana.
Yes.
And today, it's doing the gathering is Candy and Judy and Jim Smith. So there's lots of goodies back there. So afterwards, head on back and help yourself. We want to thank you all again for supporting our church. It's with your tithes and gifts. We are so grateful. And I think there's another newcomer. Is that correct? One more or two more that we might have missed. So if you'll see Dan afterwards, he has a gift bag for you. And just to go over really briefly the announcements again, we have yoga on Thursday at 1 o'clock. Tuesday at 12:30 at Scramblers, the Unity Women's Luncheon. And don't forget the summer concert on July 26th at 6 p.m. Finally, does anyone have a birthday or anniversary in the month of May? If so, please come up for a blessing and we'll have our Happy Special Day song.